Hi, welcome to the Korean Help podcast. Korean Help is a set of initiatives helping the Korean American community in the greater New York area. To learn more about us, please visit koreanhelp.org. I'm Yunho. I'm the program coordinator for Korean Help. Julia, do you want to go next?
Yes, so hi, I'm Julia. I am the coordinator for Korean culture and arts of this Korean Help.
I'm Ashley. I'm another member of the podcast team, and I handle outreach to professionals.
And hi, I'm JD Kim. I serve as advisor to Korean Help.
And today we are gonna kind of discuss what it's like being Korean American, actually here in New York. So to start off the first question, what do you like most about being Korean American? Julia, do you want to go first?
Sure, so I guess for me personally, what I like most about being Korean American is kind of the duality of living in America, while also kind of being involved in Korean culture, considering those are my roots, and just getting a unique experience regarding other cultures and other Americans.
Yeah, I agree. I also like that I get to get like a unique experience, a unique perspective, and also being like able to like kind of understand um like jokes or like culture from both sides. Ashley, do you want to go next?
Yeah, I agree. I also really like the duality of being a Korean and an American. And I also like how it feels like there's a specific community for like Korean Americans specifically. And whenever I feel maybe like a little bit like isolated, maybe I always feel very welcomed in the Korean American community. I feel like that's something that's very important to have.
Yeah, definitely. So what do you guys like most about living in New York or like just the New York area? Julia?
So for me, I do live across the bridge, so I'm not a whole New Yorker, but growing up with my mom kind of commuting to New York while she used to work there, actually my dad as well, I kind of got a sense of community again with the Korean community because my parents always knew other fellow Korean people just from attending church for their work. And that kind of got me to learn more about just a bigger world outside of my little town. And yeah.
Little town like Jersey, like right across the bridge.
Yeah, so I guess Fort Lee kind of grew a lot from just being little. There's also a lot of Korean people living here in Fort Lee, so there's like a total like different sense of community I want to say in New York and here, considering that in the city it's a little different. The people are different.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say New Yorkers are not snobs like New Jersey Koreans. I'm totally kidding.
Yeah, I know like Fort Lee is like pretty Korean, like super Korean. Yeah, I like about living in New York is like you can find like any food from like anywhere. I also like that it's like pretty walkable for an American city. Um, yeah, Ashley?
I actually really like New York sort of as like a tour. Like, I feel like this might make me sound like a tourist, but I really like Manhattan. And this is a little controversial, but I really do like Times Square. Like a lot of my friends say it's very touristy and very basic, but when I commute from school from the Bronx, I have to go through the city, and I really like seeing all the buildings, architecture, and yeah, I think it's really pretty, especially at night. And I think it's really nice to be living in a city like that.
Yeah, that's that is pretty controversial. Um, what is your favorite Korean food? Julia?
So I would have to say my favorite Korean food is tonkatsu and 제육볶음밥. Um, I kind of can eat all those foods like every day without getting tired of it. And in all honesty, when I'm going to campus, I am very worried about how I'm going to get my Korean food.
Yeah, it's like kind of impossible to choose like one. Um, but I really like in terms of like Korean food, like just eating like rice with like a bunch of banchans. Um, yeah. Ashley?
Um, it's also hard for me, but I would say lappoki only because I really like spicy food, and like I really like how the tteokbokki is chewy, and I also like ramen, but like really spicy. So it's like a mix of both. So I think that's like really good sometimes.
Okay, the next question is what is your favorite K-pop group, Korean movie, show, or book? Julia?
So I do listen to a lot of Korean music. At the moment, I don't really have a just one distinct artist or group that I kind of avidly enjoy listening to. But for a movie, show, or book, I would have to say my favorite movie's Little Forest. It's just kind of about a girl who lives more, kind of goes back down to her hometown because she kind of gets tired of living in the city for a little bit. It's a very slice of life movie, and I like how peaceful it is. And for show, I have been watching Running Man a lot because it's just kind of like a childhood thing, and I can never really get tired of watching it because it's really funny.
Yeah, like I don't know, like really like off the top of my head. Um, but I guess I really like Blackpink. They're like a K-pop group of girls. Um, they're like really, really like pretty. Um, yeah, and I also like those like K-pop like survival shows.
I
Um,
agree.
just like my guilty pleasure. Because like they're like making like young teenagers like suffer. Um, Ashley?
I literally agree with everything you just said. I really like Blackpink too. I missed their last concert. I'm super sad about that, but maybe next time. And I I like watching the survival shows too, but like only clips of them on YouTube because one time when I watched the first Produce 101 with IOI, and I was very upset when some people got eliminated. So just to not have that happen again, now I just try not to get attached to everyone. So I would say I like them, but also not.
Yeah, like
It
I
is,
like them,
yeah.
but I feel like kind of bad.
Yeah, it's really stressful watching it because then you get attached and then the eliminations happen, so you can't really do anything about it. But they are really fun keeping watch. I know there are two going on right now at the moment, at least.
um, okay, next question. What do you see as some of the biggest needs of the New York Korean community? Julia?
Um, uh, I want to say that maybe with the from the past Asian hate crimes, I'm sure that the not only the Korean community, but other many Asian communities took a hard hit and was struggling to kind of recover, considering how I know Korean people do have a very strong sense of community along with history and such. So I think maybe right now what we need is like more louder voices maybe, and kind of people more actively voicing concerns rather than staying quiet.
Yeah, definitely. Um, yeah, kind of related. I also feel like a really big need is mental health help for people, like therapy and stuff. And also like I think there needs like to be a lot of care for elderly people here. I feel like they do kind of get neglected a lot. Um, Ashley, did you want to go?
Yeah, I agree with the mental health and like the awareness. I also think that there needs to be a little bit more unity within the group. Like, I haven't really personally been through this, but I hear a lot about like a lot of Korean moms who sort of like unofficially like compete over whose kid is like smarter or better at sports or piano and stuff like that. And I feel like at the end of the day, the community is pretty connected, especially by like their Korean roots. But there definitely still is some like internal competition. And I think that should be addressed and maybe sort of alleviated a little bit, because I feel like it also puts a lot of pressure onto like their kids.
Yeah, I agree. It's like a very like systemic thing, like being competitive about academics. So the last question is, what do you feel you can do to help those needs?
Um, like you guys mentioned about mental health and the competition, especially between uh, the parents, in the sense where they uh, kind of put their kids to each other, where they kind of had to get the better grades, more sports, more clubs, more extracurriculars and such. And however, it looks more intense, the more prestigious schools. And I do believe that is something that needs to be unlearned, in the sense that rather than kind of putting their reputation before their kids' needs, which is mental health, kind of their own emotions and what their own needs and what they want to do with their life, rather than to, in a sense, show off to other parents through their kids.
Yeah, I think what we can do is like inform parents, and also offer like quality resources, make them like readily accessible. Um, Ashley?
Um, yeah, I agree. Um, but adding on to what I said previously, I feel like I'm eventually going to be an adult of the Korean, like the New York Korean community. So I guess I would try to um, well, try not to stimulate competition within the community. And maybe if I do have kids, then I would definitely not try to compare them to other kids in the community. I think that would be a good first step to take for the community as a whole.
Yeah, so those are all the questions we have. Um, so yeah, so if you guys listening want to learn more about Korean help, please visit our website, koreanhelp.org. Thank you.